Hi friends, it's Brittany at Ink and Papyrus and welcome back to my channel. I, like many of you, love saving ephemera. Plane tickets, packaging, pictures. If it's flat, pretty, or memorable, I save it. Well, after a couple of years of making a lot of themed journals, it seems like I have mounting boxes of saved ephemera I haven't gone through. It seems like the only ephemera I've really been consistent about putting into my journals is ephemera I've collected on trips and incorporated into my travel journals. I've been terrible about putting the day-to-day pieces and memories into my journals, and I've realized it's because I don't have any 365 journals. And by a 365 journal, I mean ephemera and memories and events collected throughout the course of a year, just day in and day out things that we often forget to appreciate. Oftentimes I make journals for big events and experience, but I've done a really poor job of just keeping track of the day-to-day memories, which is kind of sad because that's most of life. Work trips, I do travel for work, pics of my pups, gatherings with friends, concerts, programs, day trips, food or a restaurant I really liked, all things I want to remember. So in this video, I hope to inspire you by showing you some of the ephemera I've collected, just very seemingly ordinary things, and hopefully give you some great ideas as to how you can use them in your journals, things you can make with these pieces of ephemera, ways you can incorporate them into your layouts. And if nothing else, hopefully show you that it's never too late. I know you guys probably have stuff sitting around from a couple of years ago, maybe a decade or more old, and you're just not quite sure what to do with it. Well, if it's not too late for me, if I can do it and get my act together, I know you can too. The other thing I hope to accomplish in this video is showing you different ways you can incorporate old pictures into your journals. I don't like my journals to turn into photo albums, so to speak. I like to use the pictures in the journal layouts themselves, but I like to leave myself room to actually journal and put other pieces of ephemera that I've collected. And so I don't usually just use photos as is. I usually alter them, and I hope to show you some clever ways to do that. As you can see, I've collected a ton of ephemera, and these are just some very basic ideas to get you started. Flyers, pamphlets, tickets, wrapping paper, gift wrap, invitations, greeting cards. These are just some very basic ideas to get you started. All of them can be used to spruce up your journal layouts, so let's get started. Okay, so this is the 365, I guess that's what I'm calling it now, the 365 journal I'm working on, and there are a couple of features that I want to show you that I think make it a great journal for stashing day-to-day memories. So first of all, the cover is nothing extravagant. It seems like it will weather some wear and tear. That being said, I still like it. I think it's sturdy. I have a piece of fabric reinforcing the spine. There isn't like a whole lot of bling or sequins or anything where I feel like it's kind of delicate and fragile and it's going to get messed up. It's just chipboard, gessoed, stamped on, and a couple of decorations glued on. So that's the first feature. Another feature is that it has, I think, so let's see. Well, it has 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 signatures, and the spine is really thick. With stashing all of these pieces of ephemera and stuff in them, I know this is going to bulk up really quick, so I left adequate space, or at least what I think is going to be adequate space, between each of the signatures, knowing that there's going to be a ton of stuff that gets stashed inside of here. I have not committed to journaling in this every day, but I do want this to carry me through the year and put, components from things that I've collected from day-to-day life. And so that means putting in some seasonal stuff. I have put, towards the end here, I have put some holiday and Christmas themed pages. So I've set it up in a way that will be conducive to me journaling throughout the year, and will allow me to incorporate pretty much whatever themes I want. So the purpose of this video, aside from showing you what I'm doing, is to hopefully inspire you to put together 365 journals of your own if you're not already doing so, right? Our lives are, sometimes we have big events, but really our lives are made up by small little events, things that happen day in and day out, and memories of which we don't want to forget. So at one point in time, all of this stuff was just stacked in boxes, and at least I've gotten to the point where I've kind of sorted it by topic. So, and you know what, if you're overwhelmed and have so much stuff, you don't know where anything is, you don't know what to do with it, I suggest it's probably a good first step for you. So I've sorted this envelope here has to all do with my dog, packaging from treats, packaging from boxes, Christmas cards from friends we've gotten that have their dogs in them, more cards, treat packaging of images that I plan to use. Look how cute. Yeah, we subscribe to Bully Make boxes. And hopefully this will give you some ideas of things that you can collect and put in your journals. Chewy birthday card. They have such good customer service. Streamers deconstructed from a party. So as you can see, this is all dog stuff. And more dog stuff, more packaging. A card, a thank you card from his play care that I plan to do something with. Packaging from clothing. Look how cute. I even thought about making this into a journal cover. Not sure. We'll do something with it. More cards. Packaging. Wrapping paper from Christmas, that his Christmas presents were wrapped in, that he absolutely opens, by the way. Calendar, little, tearaways. So, like pictures I haven't done anything with. These are pictures I edited. So, yes, tons of stuff. An old bow fabric from an old bow tie that got destroyed. We absolutely love Snoopy in this house, so of course I kept it, and I figured I would do something with it later. I think this is a miscellaneous box. I keep a lot of makeup packaging. Old gift bags, how cute. Cards. Perfume cards that have like the floral makeup on the back, or the scent profile of the perfume, wrappers, things that you would probably suspect that a hoarder would hold on to. Even like cool bags from like packaging from businesses. I figure I would all do something with. Another gift bag. So this is a trips and experiences envelope, and many of my trips I've made separate journals for. We have taken some domestic trips where it didn't seem like we weren't there long enough that I felt like it was worth making a whole journal for. This was actually Qantas, our trip to Australia. This doesn't belong in here. But anyways, just ideas for things that you can keep from trips. Or some of these are like little day trips. This is a plantation right near where we live. We go to their like Halloween thing that they have a scroll of information. Postcards, of course, receipts from a trip. Hotel stuff, the little like thing you put on your door. And in addition to all of that, I finally just got some pictures developed of memories and events from 2021 to now, which it is August 2024. So just to show you, it's never too late, but I figure I couldn't really do one thing without the other. It didn't make any sense to put in all of this ephemera that I collected and leave the pictures behind. So I bit the bullet. I got all of these pictures developed. This is one of 2 boxes that I have currently in my office. And this is, let's say, going to be an ongoing project. So certainly I know I love making themed journals and putting the fanciest and prettiest embellishments and things in it, but some of this feels a little bit more, I don't know, I've been dying to want to do this. There's something that gives you so much happiness to be able to look back on events and memories and times you had with other people, and so I thought it was time to just put away all the fancy stuff for a little bit and just get to journaling about my life for the last couple of years. So I want to spend the rest of this video showing you the ephemera I've collected and pictures and ways to incorporate them into your journal layouts and make really pretty things with them. So let's start here. This was the beginning of the layout I created in memory of a recent trip I took to visit some really good friends of mine out in Indiana, and we are starting here with some receipts. I have done some journaling about a hellish trip back I had after my plane was grounded, but you know, let's face it, that's the reality of life, and sometimes that's what makes trips very, very memorable. This was actually the coffee cup. It's like one of the warmer things that goes around the cup, and it was so colorful, and the coffee company is located in Indiana, and that's where I went. So it was like, oh, perfect. All right, some Indiana ephemera, and I got some really, really cute pictures. I got to visit one of my really, really close friends and see her baby for the first time. So I'm gonna work this into a layout spread and let's see what we can come up with. So I think, one of the other really fun things about this 365 journal is, when you create a cover and a journal that is structurally so that everything just reeks of being fancy, you feel like you don't really want to do anything to it if it's not perfect, because you might ruin it. And so that's kind of why I'm not saying like those are the journals I've been making recently, but certainly I have been making a lot of journals where they are specific, very specific themes. So if it doesn't fit that specific theme, I can't use it. And I've been doing a lot of traveling as well, and if it doesn't fit that specific trip, then it just goes into a box. And so when recently, those are the journals that I've been making, and so I ended up with all of this ephemera I've collected, and that's why I have the boxes piled up that I have. And yeah, so I think I'm gonna save that for the travel logistics, since I kind of journaled about the trip home. Maybe we'll make this a couple of pages. I do think I love the overlapping. And don't forget, you don't have to necessarily, if you're concerned about your pictures, you don't necessarily have to glue them down. You could even, if they're pictures that you really are concerned about, you could even laminate them and use them as tip-ins, meaning kind of hinge, laminate them and hinge them with washi or something like that. I think I'm gonna ultimately do that with this layout, and not because I'm worried about the pictures themselves, but just because, again, otherwise I'm gonna run out of room, and I guess I could put a picture here too, but I didn't really devote any more than 4 pages, and the pages in front and the pages in back don't really fit the theme. So why don't we do this? Also, it's kind of Like this is kind of the same picture as this. He took me to some gardens around the university and we just had a good old time. Went out for breakfast, so I'll probably journal about that and having some mimosas and getting to meet the baby for the first time. Since that's, maybe I'll, don't be afraid to, you know, it doesn't have to be like a, what I don't want this to be is a scrapbook where I just have pictures glued down wall to wall and, you know, no memories, no other creative things that make the journal really kind of pop. Does that make sense? Like I don't want this to be a photo album. I actually want to journal my experiences and have the ephemera in here, though it can be really difficult. You have to be really creative because when you're incorporating pictures, if you don't cut them down and do other things with them, they do take up a lot of room. So eventually that's kind of what you end up getting is just a wall-to-wall photo album, which, you know, could be nice if that's what you're going for, but that's not what I want this to be. So you just have to be creative about it, understanding that there are a whole lot of ways you can incorporate the pictures without just straight gluing the entire picture down. Flip ups, pull outs, tucks, ways to incorporate your pictures but add extra room for journaling. And really sometimes the battle is just getting everything into the layout that you want to get into the layout. So gotta be careful with the gluage on the pictures here. Alright, so I got my picture. I think I'm gonna do some journaling under the picture about our little trip, our little field trip there. Definitely. I don't know what I want to do with this. Actually, it might be cool to put like a little, I don't know, a little teaser almost, because you kind of have to flip this up. So maybe I'll take this scaled down picture, and also when you're cutting up your pictures, like this brick like road thing, like you could use this for a ton of things. So if you have components of pictures that could stand alone and make sense, I would kind of treat them as a scrap and save them for later. Does that make sense? So like this little thing, I actually really like that little scaled down version. And I'm putting this on a pocket. I've created a pocket just containing some tickets, and I did some journaling behind a receipt. And maybe I'll do some stamping or something. You know, we stopped by these botanical gardens, so maybe I'll just do some stamping of some floral stuff. And you know, you don't have to do this. For some reason, I seem to be repulsed by blank white space. It's not a bad thing though, you know, just leave some breathing room. You might want to do something with it later. You may just want to leave it be, but never, not in my world. Everything has to be busy, 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 busy. Okay, so we have that. Oh, look, just a cute little surprise. Maybe we'll put some leaves and print them at different angles so it kind of looks like they're falling. Yeah, I had to incorporate. This was a really special trip. I haven't gotten to see her in a couple of years. so we were like way overdue. Don't forget, stamping off the page can look really, really cool. Okay, I really like that. So we have that. All right, I think it adds some interest. Okay, and now we just have to figure out what to do with baby here and how to make this a really cute layout. Okay, so I cropped down the picture. I just did a little caption under it on the flip up, and I cut and pasted baby out, baby silhouette, to give me some extra journaling room. And there's a whole lot of blank space here. So I was thinking of just cropping this picture. Well, instead of throwing this away, I think I am going to cut this little arch out and glue it down the page like this. So these are ways you can kind of cut up your, not cut up, but alter your pictures to get more of the picture in your journal, but also not have to take up an entire, like if I would have just used this picture as is, I would have never been able to get it on the flip up, and I probably would have cropped out the arches and just thrown them away, but kind of gives the page dimension, I think, like cutting out various structures. You know what I'm trying to say. And of course, don't be afraid to get all mixed media with it. What if we, since they took me to the botanical gardens, what if we watercolor in a little bit of floral things? Just thinking, because I have some white space, and of course I'm going to do some journaling, but I'm thinking instead of journaling just on the white page, why don't I do some light watercolors and journal over the watercolor? And that way I'm not like, I don't know, sometimes I have everything in the world to write, and sometimes I feel like I have nothing to write. So this way I won't feel pressured to have to write an entire page worth of stuff. Maybe I'm not feeling like I have an entire page worth of stuff to write, and with the watercolor paintings, I don't feel pressured to eat up all the blank space on the page, if you know what I mean. You guys know what I mean. These are not going to be fancy flowers. They're going to be very childish, which that's fine. Now we can just do what we want here. It's not watercolor paper, it's copy paper, so I'm not going to be doing a whole lot of blending or anything. I don't want to warp the paper too much, especially with pictures on it, but we're just going to do some pretty floral elements. If we make a little stem there, because you know what, I'm not feeling like following the rules today. So our flowers are getting pink stems. Why not, right? And be loose with it. It's just paper. Just paper. What if I come in here and do, this might be a little bit dark for our purposes since we want to be able to write over it, but oh well. We're just gonna roll with it. Let's get some orange in there. Hope you guys are doing well. What are you up to today? Are you doing some fall journaling or what? Yes, don't worry, we're gonna get some seasonal stuff in here. I am just gonna give you a spoiler alert if you made it this far into this video, where sometimes I don't even know where we're going. This is your reward for being loyal. We are gonna be doing some spooky paper dolls. And by spooky, I mean Halloween inspired masquerade thing, kind of like costume party paper dolls, which I am super excited about. It's going to be a whole lot of fun. That's what next week video is going to be. I'm already working on it. It's going to be phenomenal. It's going to be well planned, well thought out. I'm going to have some great prototypes for you guys. So don't worry, it's not going to be like this video where we're just splashing paint around on paper, but you know, this can be fun too, right? All right, so I'm gonna let this dry, and I am gonna do some journaling on this later off camera. I don't want to bore you guys. I'll show you eventually. I will do a flip through of this journal, of course, and we'll talk about my first 365 journal and how I stopped procrastinating, and you know, who knows how long it's going to take me to fill this up, but I'm excited nevertheless. And let's get to working on another layout with some other types of ephemera. So in the time I went to look for some other ephemera for another layout, these flowers dried. So I'm just finishing up a little bit of journaling here. And this is, I did a little bit about getting to meet baby for the first time. So I think it was perfect the way I cut his silhouette out. I'll probably go around his silhouette with some paint or some inks, something really fun to doll this page up a little bit. And I was thinking of maybe putting a picture of a plane and a map of Indiana here. So I'm gonna do that now. Okay, so I printed a map of Indiana around where I was, and I didn't scale it. I didn't print it to the size that I should have. So I'm thinking I am just going to crop it myself, if you know what I mean. I kind of want to keep this little scale down here. I think that's really cool. A couple of things you could do just for different ideas. We could, and this is another way I love to get ephemera. You know, if you visit a place and you can't get a pamphlet or a map, printing maps or tide charts, things like that is perfect to fill a journal with things from a specific place where you couldn't, you know, collect ephemera while you were there. I was thinking, you know, you could use this as a pocket. We could do a tip-in if we were running out of room. We wanted to put something else here. Then we could simply hinge this like this. And so you can flip this and journal on the back and put something here. Or we can just glue it down as is. We could also... we could flip this out. Now we're getting fancy. I don't know that I have that much more ephemera. It was a really short trip. I don't really have that much more to put in here or write about. I think I kind of wrote everything I wanted to. So I am simply going to glue this into my journal. I just wanted to give you some ideas. Maybe I will like hinge this though, so I can put, you know, sometimes you'll find things later and you're like, oh man, I really wanted to put that in there. This kind of allows me to do that if I find something else that I want to include. So I just kind of hinge that so you could secure that with washi. I'm just gonna glue this in. I hope this is kind of getting the wheels turning for you in terms of, okay, like that's how I can incorporate some of that stuff in my journal. Okay, it's never too late. You know, you can always go back and do some journaling later. So That's kind of just the idea, or the hope rather, from this video. I can inspire you to go back through your stuff. Don't let it hang out there in boxes for forever. You can find something to do with it. And yeah, I mean, this took me like a half hour truly to do these layouts for my trip to Indiana. So I promise you, you guys can do it too. So speaking of just day-to-day memory keeping, this was a coloring book page, and I just went over the wording with the watercolors to accentuate it. I saved this packaging because this was like my favorite eyeshadow palette. It was like purples and pinks and browns, like you can see. And so I just swatched with some watercolors some of the colors that were in the palette. And I just put, you know, where I got it, my Ipsy subscription box, and just kind of the general theme of the palette. So just, I don't know, just an idea. Sometimes we take delight in like the simple pleasures in life, and that's what I hope this journal to be. And I hinged it just with the packaging. I folded it over, and here is the actual colors of the palette. So I do want to show you one other thing that I think is really, really helpful if you are doing this type of journaling. As you saw earlier, there are some components of seasonality, but in no way, shape, or form am I going sequentially in order. That would be impossible to do. I'm just incorporating memories and events and experiences as I go, and I think that is such a smart way to do things, because otherwise you cannot move on to anything until you're done with your previous layout, because you're not going to know how much space to leave for anything. Don't trouble yourself unless you're going to commit to doing a daily journaling every single day. If you're incorporating pictures and ephemera like me, do yourself a favor. Just say, okay, this is the journal for 2023, or this is the journal from 2020 to 2024, if you're really backdating things, and just allow yourself to go as sporadically as you want. You may want to incorporate some dates on your pages as you're journaling, so you know what week or what month, what day you're referring to. But aside from that, I say heck with the order. Just put your memories in. You'll be so much happier. Otherwise, you're just going to put doing this off because you're not going to know where to start, and it's going to become overwhelming. Okay, so this could be really fun. This is Trader Joe's packaging from, obviously, Honey, and I have no idea what I'm doing, but let's incorporate this into a layout. So if you think your life's not exciting enough, I promise you it is. You definitely have things to journal about. You definitely have things to include. Oh, look, favorite recipes. So this is clearly lemon-like packaging. I just incorporated a random assortment of pages into my journal, my signature pages, and I was like, okay, lemons, what do I do with this? Well, I love making lemon bars. So this is a recipe for lemon bars. And I used the packaging, you know, the little tabs that come at the, like, that staple that hold the mesh of whatever fruit you have, in this case lemons. So tore off the label. I'm using it as a text spot, and I got this picture of lemons off of lemon extract packaging up here, using that as like a little tab. See, I promise you, your life is exciting. There is plenty to incorporate in your journal. You just have to keep things, be a hoarder, and yeah, that's it. Maybe this would be pretty as a rainbow of honey. Kind of like nature themed. Yeah, why do I do that? And I'll probably end up covering the tab or not. So for really thick packaging like this, usually I will just take my bone folder. I don't know where it is, so I'm just gonna smoosh it out with this. I'm just gonna weather that a little bit. by getting the edges. There we go. Alright, I do like the Trader Joe's being on there, so I want to make sure, yes. So, you could glue this down, but that's going to require a lot of glue and a lot of patience. So I'm just going to come in with my handy dandy stapler. You could of course also sew the packaging down if your pages aren't bound into your journal yet, but as you see mine are. So I'm just going to take the center of this, and there we go. Maybe I'll do a couple of staples. You could staple, we could even use this as a tuck spot, see, by leaving this here. Okay. There we go. And I am simply going to cut off the excess. And we will make a whole layout with this. A whole spectacular layout. Now, the rest of this packaging, see how, like, look, oh, don't look, I stapled the pages together. Hold on, where is my staple remover? Is here. Okay, another idea. Do you see, like, this is from Ipsy Box? This just has a bunch of fruit on the packaging, so I wanted to keep it and, I don't know, do something with it later. Haven't decided. That's just where I thought it fit. Just gonna take that staple out, and we're just gonna pretend like that never even happened. Fold that back over, and I just dropped all my stuff. All right. Okay. So let's see. What can we incorporate into our little layout here? So I could use this page to journal about different things. Maybe I don't use it. Maybe there's no journaling on it. Maybe it's just going to be a conglomeration of cool images and cool things. And I think that's where I'm going with this. I just want to cut out the different kinds of honey, and I think I'm going to do something cool with that. Oh wow, it even has a quote on it. Look how cute. We're definitely going to keep the quotes. Maybe we'll make this a 2-page layout. What does it say? All of the breath and the bloom of the year in the bag of 1B. And then the second one is honey and wax, two of the noblest things, which are sweetness and light. So I tried to draw a hive and around the packaging, and it came out looking atrocious. So, change of plans, we are covering it up with some fabric here. See, you can always cover things up. And I'm not sure what we're doing with this page, but we're gonna do something different. Something different than what I just did. And that's fine. See, we can cover things up, we can adapt. If you don't like something, just put something else down on top of it. Right? Okay. And one last piece of fabric. See, and it's like nothing ever happened. And now we have some really pretty page trim up here. Still don't know what I want this page to be, but we'll figure it out. So I know I have a watercolor bumblebee in here somewhere. I think I do. If you're interested, I made these whimsical watercolor doodles in a previous video. I will link the video to that above and in the description box. But I was thinking, wow, this would be awesome to like liven the page up. Look how cute. Or maybe I used the bumblebee in another layout recently. I don't know how many I have. And even that, oh, that's a jellyfish. I thought it was a mushroom at first. I was talking about like making honey jars, and this is kind of what came to mind. Like, that would be so cute. And if you made several of these and labeled them with the labels I was showing you, just a thought. So you can, there's so many different ways to use packaging. The sky is the limit. You can alter the packaging in a way that really kind of fits your journal theme or just your overall style. So don't be shy about keeping the packaging and cutting it up and changing things. Just, I'm not gonna look too hard for the bee. If we find it, we find it. If we don't, we don't. I'm kind of just enjoying looking at these. Maybe I won't. I would really like to find that bee, but even if we don't, there are definitely some really pretty things we can use in our layout here. Little flowers. Oh, look at the little butterfly. Maybe we'll just use the little butterfly. What do you think? I think that looks really pretty. Okay, so let's put these away. These are so much fun to make. I recommend checking them out. It doesn't matter if you can paint or you can't paint. Like the doodles really make these, and anyone can doodle. You can make some this a little button. You can make some spectacular looking watercolor doodles, even if you can't paint and even if you can't draw. So those are so much fun. So why don't we incorporate these into our little layout here? Oh, I love this. And what if we... See, this is one of these, I don't even know the purpose of the layout. I just find this adorable. And again, this is like a layout I would never think of making, like a conglomeration of honey types and quotes and stuff, but like this is what I mean when you save your packaging. Sometimes the packaging itself will inspire you to make a layout or create something you never would have otherwise. You know, and you could do a little bit of journaling on the page, but you know, you don't have to. Not everything has to be a journaling page. It could just be a conglomeration of things you collected at one point in time that tells a story itself. Perfect. And I'm just gonna do some stamping off the page here. Okay. And let's see. I don't think I'm going to use this page to journal, so I like this. I don't know what this is, but this text stamp is like kind of speaking to me. And this is where like the mixed media part of it comes in. You know, you can have a layout that contains packaging and drawing and painting and pictures and store-bought ephemera and magazine images, and you can totally go with it. There are no rules, there are no limits. And I just want to get rid of some of the white space there. And I even stamped on the flower, and you know what? It's all good. It's okay. See? I love that. Alright, let's see. What do we want to do here? maybe we want to, I have another little bee. What if maybe we're gonna, I don't know, let's see, put a word there and break up some of that sloppy text I have. And what if we just do some ripping? Just like a little flag thing. That might look nice. Get it on the page, it's not too busy. I really like this. To make sure that butterfly is glued properly. Here we go. So we have a stamping and we have a watercolor painted object and we have packaging and fabric trim on top. That's pretty cool, right? Oops. There we go. And I made it darker so it kind of emphasizes it. And yeah. So we don't have any writing, we just have, this was one of my favorite products of the season. I know if you guys shop at Trader Joe's, you know they have seasonal stuff all the time, so it kind of speaks to a specific point in time, a specific season. It's a limited edition item. So those are the kinds of packaging that I liked using in my journals, or like the lemons that I showed you. I love lemons, a recipe, or like the eyeshadow palette, something limited edition, but something that kind of speaks to you, that you really enjoyed, something that speaks to your taste, if that makes sense. So why don't we do one more layout? Oh, I have to show you this. So, as you guys probably know, I've mentioned before I scuba dive. So I was gonna put some of my dive pictures in here, and I got an advertisement in the mail for Shark Week and cut up a fin to use as a tab. I have my dive insurance card here and cut out some sharks from a Nat Geo magazine, right? So again, mixed media. This is a piece of ephemera from an old expired insurance card, an advertisement, images from a magazine, and I planned on putting some diving pictures here. So I have to show you how, look how cute this is. This is a subscription service we get with toys for heavy chewers, and the illustrations on the packaging are always primo. Look, Barkley Davidson and Dogka 30 Wolf, I think proof. Amazing, right? Okay, so I got some faulty. I wasn't really sure. Dale loves patrolling the garden, so I was thinking, what if we take a picture of him, and I was gonna kind of keep it fall themed perhaps. Alright, I'm gonna glue this down, this picture down. We could alternatively glue it to make it a pocket. Let's do that. So it'll be a flip up and a pocket, and this is how you kind of, now of course things will bulk up quickly, but this is kind of how you cheat and get around. Sorry, I'm just trying to look at what way to glue it. This is how you get around incorporating all this stuff into your journal without, especially pictures, without running out of room. And you can pull this up to see what's underneath, obviously. just gonna try this out for size. Let me fold that over like this. I'm not sure. All right, so I'm gonna glue that down. You may be better off stapling this or sewing it, but I'm gonna try the glue thing. And then we're gonna incorporate some other things to make this a whole page layout. More layouts inspired by packaging and just randomness. I should have used this, save this for like St. Patty's Day, like our March page. That's okay. Okay, and boop up. Oh, that's really cute. I also think his bandana here is really cute, and even though this wasn't the tag to the bandana, I think I'm just going to attach this here because it's a nice nod to his like cute little outfit there. So I think I'm just going to puncture a hole. There are a lot of different ways you can do this. I'm just going to, I don't want to make a huge knot because that will just get really bulky really fast, but I don't want to glue it down because I want you to be able to peel this up. So I think I'm just going to make a little perforation in the paper, just stab it like so. I'm just gonna put, I don't actually know the year this was. Is this the other problem when you wait to journal and do things? You're like, when was that? I think that may have been our first fall with us. We got him in January of 2020. So I think this would have been fall, yeah, like fall 2020. Say Dale's first fall. Okay. And just gonna trim this so it's not too in the way. And I'm gonna do a little bit of journaling here, but I love the concept of the flip up. I don't think the tag gets too in the way. I didn't want to cover the cute little dog here. And here's a pocket, so I'm definitely gonna do some more journaling in here. And I thought, I have a lot of pictures of him, so I thought about getting another picture, because again, like, pictures take up a whole lot of room in journals, especially when you're limited on space. So I think what I'm gonna do is actually put another picture in here, and journal on the back of it. So this is just kind of him walking away, like patrolling the yard, so I thought that was pretty appropriate. We are going to journal on the back of this, though this does have some, this has the emblem of like the company or whatever that I got these prints from. So I am just going to cover the back here. Just gonna layer some paper so that I can write on this. I've also found that it's a lot of times the back of the picture, whatever material this is, it kind of repels pens, and I did like a whole like journaling thing on the back of a picture once, and it was like a half hour later and it was still smudging, and I was like, oh. Alright, and gonna do some writing on this, and it fits in there easily. You can make a little tab on this to show people it's meant to be pulled out. Look at this cute packaging from ice cream that I get him. Okay, so I think I'm gonna cut off here. See, when you save everything, which you shouldn't do, but when you save everything, you can just, you pretty much have any shape and size of something you're looking for. Staple it down here maybe. And there we go. See, we have a cute little doggy topper. And so I'm gonna do some journaling. And I have some really, really cute doggy stamps. I think I'm going to do, again, a little bit of stamping, and maybe I'll just put some stamps. And so I don't have very good handwriting, so I like the strategy where you purposefully make hidden journaling spots, because it makes me less self-conscious about my terrible handwriting, but to each its own. Oh, let me show you guys on the cover. The cover I'm working on right now. Look, isn't this so cute? So I'm gonna do some stamping and some decorating around here, but look how handsome he is. So I found this, I don't know what material it is. I think I got it off AliExpress, and I lined a bubble envelope, a bubble mailer with it, and sewed some coloring pages to the back, some dog themed coloring pages, and just reinforced the spine with some fabric and sewed it down. And I make memory books for him. I love journaling like our little doggy ventures, and this will be his third. We can do a flip through at some point. Obviously I'm nowhere, I haven't even started, but I do have the first two done, so if you guys are interested, we can absolutely do a flip through of that. So I'm going to do a couple of other things here, not too much, probably just some stamping and decorating around the picture here, and do a little journaling here and call it a day. So guys, I know this video was a little sporadic and haphazard. That's what you get for trying to do a video on things, ephemera, that you've accumulated over a 3 to 4 year period. But I hope you got some inspiration from seeing some of the packaging I collect and ways I use it in my journals. And I hope this inspired you too. If you're sitting on years of stuff, you've got to start somewhere. So just start. I promise it's easier as you go. You'll get plenty of ideas along the way, and before you know it, you'll have a full journal. So thank you so much for watching. If you found value in this and you enjoyed this, please hit that like and subscribe button, and I can't wait to see you the next time.